Imagine this. There's a mysterious pill on the streets. One tiny capsule, and for 5 minutes you could become unstoppable. Super strength, invisibility, bulletproof skin. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the thing, you don't get to choose your power. Some people take it and become gods among men, but others, they take it and never wake up again. 3 strangers cross paths. They each have different reasons to chase down the people behind this drug, but little do they know that they're about to uncover something massive, something deadly. Because the truth, this pill was never meant to be on the streets. It was meant for something far worse. Stay with me now. Welcome to Peak Plot Recaps. If you're here, you're probably ready to dive straight into some epic movies without the boring stuff. We're all about breaking down the coolest and most intense stories from the screen, quick, simple, and straight to the good parts. First, let's see what we are about to deal with real quick before we jump into the recap. So grab some snacks, sit back, and relax. Today, I'm going to explain an action-packed sci-fi thriller film, Project Power. Directed by Henry Yost and Ariel Schulman. This movie takes us on a wild ride filled with secret government experiments, high-stakes chases, and some seriously insane superpowers. The film has a 6.0 out of 10 IMDb rating and falls under the genres of action, crime, sci-fi, and thriller. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button. And now, spoilers ahead. The story begins in the near-future streets of New Orleans, where a shady-looking dude named Biggie gathers a group of local drug dealers. He's got something special for them, a brand new drug called Power. And no, it's not your average street drug. This tiny glowing pill is a game changer. What's it all about? Well, when you give it a shot, you get a random superpower for 5 minutes. But the problem is that you don't know what power you'll get until you end up actually take it. One person might turn invisible, another might get super strength, and some unlucky folks, well, they just explode. Yeah, not exactly a fun surprise. Biggie decides to give the dealers the first batch for free, letting them sell it at whatever price they want. That's how you get people hooked. Give them a taste of something wild, and soon enough, the entire city will be craving it. And just like that, power starts spreading like wildfire in New Orleans. Next, we meet Robin, a smart and street-savvy teenage girl who's already deep in the game. She's not just any dealer, she's quite good at what she does. She moves through the city selling power to anyone those willing to take the risk. But being young and running a business in these streets isn't easy. One night, while Robin was selling to some customers, things get messy. A group of 3 older boys approached and tried to rob her, thinking she's an easy target. But Robin, she's got guts. She bluffs, pretending like she has a gun hidden behind her back. For a second, it works, but then one of them attacks from behind. Just when things seem to be taking a turn for the worse, a motorcycle pulls up fast. Meet Frank Shaver, an off-duty police officer from New Orleans who's also a familiar face for Robin. Frank pulls out his real gun and forces the boys to back off. One of them grabs a power pill, ready to take it and throw hands. But Frank warns him, that thing could blow you up into little pieces. The kid hesitates, and Frank snatches the pill away before he gets the chance to find out. The boys run off, and Frank turns his attention to Robin. Instead of placing her under arrest, he lets her go. Turns out, these two actually have an arrangement. Frank secretly buys power from Robin to even the odds in the playing field against criminals. Because if bad guys are running around with superpowers, how can a regular cop fight back? And just like that, it becomes clear how deeply power has already infiltrated the city. Meanwhile, somewhere in a rundown apartment, a man walks up to a door. He knocks, but the guy inside, Newt, one of Biggie's dealers, isn't about to let him in. Newt is paranoid. He peeks through the door, holding a gun in his shaking hands. The man at the door is Art, also known as the Major. He's not here to make a deal. He's here looking for answers. Newt refuses to open up, but Art is 2 steps ahead. With a simple trick, he unlocks the door and walks in. Inside, Art finds something disturbing. Power has completely destroyed Newt. His body is covered in burns, and he looks like he's been taking way too many doses. He's twitchy, sweaty, and there's a massive stash of power hidden in his apartment. Oh, and there's an alligator chilling in the bathroom. Because why not? Art doesn't waste time. He decided to take out his gun and demands to know who is behind the supply of power. But Newt is not about to give up info that easily. Instead, he does something insane. He pops a power pill and his entire body ignited into flames. Art barely dodges the attack as Newt, now a human fireball, charges toward him. The fight moves into the hallway and then down into the lower floors of the building. He pops 3 more pills, cranking up his flames even higher. But Art isn't going to back down either. As they fight, a neighbor splashes a bucket of water on Newt, temporarily weakening him. Art seizes the opportunity. He tackles Newt and shoves him into a bathtub filled with water, gasping as his body sizzling from the water. But Art isn't done yet. He demands answers. First, Newt refuses to talk. But after a few solid punches, he finally snitches it. Biggie. And that's all Art needed to hear. He gets up to leave, just as Newt's body starts violently shaking. And then suddenly, Newt explodes. Art barely manages to make it out alive, but as he stumbles away, a painful memory floods his mind. A car accident and his daughter, Tracy, being taken away. It seems like there's more going on here than just stopping a drug. Is this a personal beef? Back at home, Robin takes care of her sick mother, Irene. They don't have much money, and the medical bills are piling up. That's why Robin is selling power to survive. Robin heads to school, struggling to stay focused. Her strict teacher calls her out for not paying attention, embarrassing her in front of the class. But Robin has a talent. She's a skilled rapper, and in her mind, she imagines herself dropping bars so fire that even her teacher is impressed. Reality, she just gets sent to the principal's office. Meanwhile, Art is piecing together clues. Using Newt's phone, he finds out that Newt was supposed to meet Robin for a deal. So Art decides to take his place and lure Robin into a trap. That night, Robin arrives at their usual meeting spot, expecting to find Newt. Instead, she finds nothing. Frustrated, she turns to leave, only to discover her motorcycle's tires have been slashed. And before she can react, Art grabs her, throws her into the trunk of his car, and drives off. Robin is terrified, kicking and screaming from inside the trunk. But Art doesn't want to hurt her. He needs information. So he makes a threat that gets her attention real quick. If you don't talk, I'll find your mother, and I'll ask her instead. Realizing he's serious, Robin spills everything she knows. She tells Art that she gets her supply from Biggie, a major power dealer. As Robin and Art drive, Robin desperately tries to text Frank for help, but Art catches her and takes her phone. He forces her to call the number she uses to get power, pretending to be in trouble. The voice on the other end gives her an address, a supermarket, and a secret phrase, alligator wine. Art and Robin arrive at the Hong Kong market, an ordinary-looking grocery store hiding a criminal operation in the back. Robin goes inside, asking for alligator wine, and is taken to a private room. Meanwhile, Art, ever the watchful hunter, waits outside. Inside, Robin meets Cuello, a local dealer with ties to the bigger operation. But instead of following Art's plan, Robin rats him out, hoping to escape. Cuello pops a power pill, getting ready to fight. But Art, he's 3 steps ahead. He storms inside, fighting through Cuello's men with brutal efficiency. Hand-to-hand combat, quick takedowns, pure action. At the same time, Robin is locked inside a hidden truck, which is suddenly driven away. She panics as gunfire rattles the metal walls. Art is fighting for his life outside. Eventually, Art defeats Cuello, but he's shot in the process. As he opens the truck, his vision blurs, and he suddenly sees Robin as his daughter, Tracy. But Robin snaps him back to reality, and together, they discover something huge. Inside the truck is a high-tech surveillance setup, monitoring every power user in New Orleans. The dealers aren't selling the drug for money. This is a test, a massive human experiment to perfect power before releasing it worldwide. And it's all leading to one big event happening in 2 hours. Meanwhile, Frank is worried about Robin. He heads to her house but sees something suspicious. 2 men in suits, intimidating Robin's sick mother, Irene. Frank, ever the smart guy, sneaks inside through the window, throws water on his hair, and suddenly pretends to be Irene's boyfriend. The men are caught off guard, but Frank doesn't stop there. He whips out his phone, filming them, and calls out their illegal behavior. The men back off, leaving the house, but Frank isn't done. He sticks a tracking device on their car and follows them. On the way to the big event, Art finally opens up to Robin. He tells her the real reason he's after power. Years ago, he was a soldier, part of government experiments designed to create superpowers in humans. The experiments failed, but something unexpected happened. Art's daughter, Tracy, was born with permanent powers. Unlike the pills, which only work for 5 minutes, Tracy didn't need a drug. She was naturally gifted. And that's why she was taken. Helios, the shadowy organization behind power, wants to use Tracy's DNA to make power permanent. Art is determined to get her back. Hearing this, Robin softens. This isn't just about power, it's about family. They arrive at the event, a fancy, high-class demonstration for wealthy investors. Inside, Biggie presents power to potential buyers, calling it the next step in human evolution. He shows off a test subject, a woman who gains cryokinesis, ice powers, after taking power. Art blends in, posing as a drunk guest. But as Biggie boasts about his miracle drug, Art suddenly pulls a gun on him. A shootout erupts. Chaos takes over. One of Biggie's men takes power, but instead of gaining a cool ability, he explodes. Meanwhile, Art catches Biggie, demanding answers about Tracy's location. Biggie spills it, the ship Genesis. That's where Tracy is being held. At that moment, Frank arrives, gun drawn, trying to arrest Art. But Art isn't the bad guy. Just as it looks like a standoff, Biggie takes power, transforming into a giant monster. Art and Frank work together, escaping as Art shoots gas tanks, causing a massive explosion. Biggie is blown to pieces. Frank, finally realizing the truth, teams up with Art. They head to the Genesis, but there's a problem. Art knows he's being hunted. He lets himself get captured, knowing it's the only way to get to Tracy. Frank and Robin follow the ship, sneaking inside. Inside, Art confronts Dr. Gardner, the cold, calculating mastermind behind power. She sees herself as a pioneer, creating the next stage of humanity. Meanwhile, Frank fights his way through the guards, but he struggles against a power-enhanced enemy, a man whose body is as flexible as rubber. Robin helps by trapping him in a closing door, breaking his arm when the power wears off. Robin finds Tracy, reuniting her with Art, but they aren't safe yet. Dr. Gardner takes Robin hostage, demanding Tracy in exchange. Art steps forward, holding one last power pill. Art swallows the pill. His body starts glowing, but he doesn't explode. Instead, he gains the ability of a pistol shrimp, an animal so powerful that it creates heat hotter than the surface of the sun. A shockwave erupts from his body, vaporizing everything around him. Dr. Gardner's men are incinerated in seconds. The entire deck of the ship is destroyed. And then silence. Art collapses, his body completely drained. The power was too much. He's dead, or so it seems. Tracy rushes forward, placing her hands on her father's chest. Her eyes glow as she channels her own unique ability, healing. And just like that, Art is revived. They won. With Gardner and her men dead, Frank and Robin help Art and Tracy escape in a lifeboat. Back on shore, Frank makes a decision. He's going to expose Project Power. He plans to leak the story to the press, ensuring that the truth comes out. As for Art, he's done fighting. He tells Robin that Tracy is his only priority now, and they're leaving to start a new life, away from all this chaos. Before he leaves, he hands Robin a bag of money, enough to take care of her mother forever. And just like that, Art and Tracy disappear into the distance. This is a story where a tiny pill can completely change everything, and where power isn't just a choice, it's a gamble. Some rise, some fall, and some, they were never meant to take it in the first place. One thing's for sure, power always comes at a price. So, what do you think about this movie? If this pill existed in real life, would you take it? Would you risk it all for 5 minutes of unstoppable power? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for us to make more peak recaps for you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.